Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be an analysis of some of the most popular futures markets out there for day traders. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. One quick clarification up front, I'll be using the 1 hour time frame. So if you're a beginner, what that means is each one of these candlesticks, as they're called, represents 1 hour's worth of time. So first market we will look at is the NQ. And as a reminder, even if you just do the MNQ, because they mirror one another, what I talk about here, you could apply also to the MNQ. So overall, though, not a whole lot to report. I mean, honestly, if you watched the previous video, I mapped out these couple levels here, and it was just a big old range day, just kind of chopping back and forth. So from an overarching standpoint, it's still just a waiting game. You have the resistance up here at 22,320. You have the area of support down here at 22,092. And it's sort of just kind of a, well, let's wait and see what happens. Now, if you're some sort of, day trader scalper, I mean, there's money to be made within this, downward, this action right here. But just from an overarching standpoint, as of right now, let me zoom out here. You can see that, yeah, just pretty much been stuck in this sideways range for the past several sessions. So kind of just got to sit back and ultimately see what may play out. Right here, this hourly candle, pretty rough move back downwards. But even with that, I mean, that's pretty much putting the price right in the middle of this range. So sometimes you have a whole lot to talk about for a chart. In this situation, you don't really have a whole lot to talk about. Just was up here, came down here, came up here, came back down here, came back up here. And now is this candle a leading indicator that it's going to come back down? We'll have to see what happens. But if it does, you got to believe that everybody and their brother's uncle is going to be watching 22,092 and seeing whether or not it can hold. Now taking a look at ES, and ES has definitely some movement here that needs to be updated, as it's made some very good moves. Let me just get rid of that level for now. And you can see right here that it's actually made a big push upward. In fact, let me just clean all this. It's looking kind of sloppy. So just to kind of illustrate the significant move that ES had today, there was this trend line that had been in place. And you can see right here during that hourly session right there, big breakthrough here. Granted, it's pulled back a little bit. But the point here being is this one is not stuck in any sort of range anymore. This one has made the move up through and going in the next session. It now becomes a question of, does this movement right here, is it going to pick up more strength? Is it going to pick up more buyers? And right now you got to, lean on the side of looking good. It's maintaining the breakout point. In other words, had it broken out and then just dropped straight down here, okay, then that would have been just a very blatant fake breakout. So it's broken out. Sure, it's pulled back, but that's nothing crazy. I mean, things like the back test areas that they've broken out from. So as right now, nothing crazy in terms of the back test. In fact, let me change that to green because that's just basic technical analysis. When levels of resistance are broken, you want to see them act as support. So continue to watch that area right there. And then just from more of an overarching standpoint, if the price does pull back more, then I could see that trend line also coming into play. But right now, we have the breakout of the wedge. So headed in the next session, as I already talked about, pretty much just a question of, is this breakout of the wedge going to generate more upside buying pressure? If not, and it pulls back, then I would certainly keep an eye on that lower trend line right there. But as of right now, the wedge has been broken. Let's see if the bulls can get more upside momentum. Next one, the YM, and wow, that's all you can really say about late afternoon part of the session here. Beautiful hammer candle, followed by a very strong hour right there. And now you're looking at this candle, and it's looking very, very strong, and no guarantees, but seems more than valid and plausible to say, I think there's a good chance that the price is headed up here to do battle with that area of resistance, which is valued at the 44,755 mark. So that'll definitely be a key dynamic that I think has a very real chance of coming into play. And then if the price can push up through there, next key overarching area of resistance right up there at that secondary level of resistance valued at 44,875. But no doubt about it, think about it. At one point, this thing had broken down through both of these lows right here. This was one big red candle, and then all of a sudden, the price slammed on the brakes, and boom, up it went. So truly a pretty crazy day when you just think about the story that was given via the chart. In terms of levels of support, now that we have more data, I'm going to go ahead and adjust this level down, and if there is any sort of move back downwards, right there around 44,400 would be a very fascinating level, especially when you consider, like I said, that at this point essentially turned out to be a double bottom there. So if the price were to come back down there, do you get some sort of triple bottom? No guarantees, but a valid scenario to throw out there. But as of right now, given just the huge bounce off of that level, I think most people are wondering, rightfully so, including me, is the price going to be able to push up through this 44.75 mark or 44,755 mark? We'll see what happens. Now, stepping away from the indices, let's take a look in the oil market, specifically crude. So taking a look at CL here, and CL is grinding. The bulls are finding their footing again, pushing back upwards. And the most straightforward way for me, at least, to gauge that is that trend line right there, which I put into play within the past couple of videos. But anyways, you can see the price is still nicely above that area. Going to go ahead and get rid of that level. So from an overarching standpoint, if you're just curious, what's the health right now of the attempted reversal here? As long as the price remains above that uptrending trend line, then in my opinion at least, the bulls are in full health. The bulls are in full control of the current upwards movement. In terms of areas of resistance, let's go actually to the 4-hour time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks represents 4 hours. Next key overarching level from a resistance standpoint, if this is going to continue on up, going to be right up there around the $73.35 mark, followed by the pink line up there, the 200 period moving average, but one hurdle at a time. Because yeah, as of right now, this was a pretty big pullback here on the 4-hour time frame. But even with the pullback, when you look at the lows, and that's why the trend line's helpful, you can see that even with that bigger pullback, the price still has plenty of opportunities to build higher bases and stay above that trend line. So we'll see if it can get done. But yeah, rough pullback here, but if this curls back upwards, definitely all eyes going to be right up there around 73.35. Next one here, looking at the precious metals market, specifically gold, so GC, and this will mean more to those of you that have watched past videos. But if you have, you know that I've had that red line in there for quite a bit, so not necessarily to brag about myself, but definitely to brag about charts. They're definitely a very valuable tool. But I've had that line in there, and wouldn't you know it, this past session, very, very impressive recovery after this nasty move here. But wouldn't you know it, right where the recovery stopped, right at that area of resistance. So moving forward, right there at about 29.64 remains the key battleground and the main area of resistance from a technical standpoint. Good news is that even though it got rejected off of it, it's not like it was some sort of major rejection. The price is still nicely above that purple line there. And as of right now, you can see this green candle. It's starting to head back upwards. So going into the next session, more than valid to think that and to throw out there that, I think another test is going to come. I think another battle is going to come. So who will ultimately win out? That is a more than plausible scenario I can see right there. In terms of levels of support, preferably speaking, you want to see the price stay above that purple line right there. But from the bigger picture point of view, even if the price were to pull back and come all the way down to that 28.60 mark, so in other words, the bottom part of this movement here, from an overarching standpoint, you would still very much so have higher lows being built. Now, there's this perspective I get. If you're a day trader and you bought right there, then of course you don't want to see the price going all the way down there. So I'm talking about things from different angles, but from an overarching standpoint, yes, staying above that purple line would make the chart look the strongest. But even if the price doesn't hold and it drops down to that level, that just shows how strong gold has been, because a drop all the way down there would still give it a much higher base previously to where it was. But all things considered, moving into the next session, it's looking like another showdown is going to take place. So that wraps up the analysis. And again, if you saw that link at the top of the page, make sure you check that out. That is for Take Profit Trader. That is a prop firm that I use and recommend, and they're open to people basically around the world. If you see your country on that list, unfortunately, they would not be open to you. But if your country's not on that list, then yes, you could use them to get direct access into the U.S. futures market. So definitely consider them. They're great. Make sure you use that link. That'll ensure you get the best promotion, which right now is 50% off all of their normal pricing. So definitely use that link and give Take Profit Trader a try. I'm very confident you'll be pleased with that decision. So thanks for watching. As always, if you appreciate these analysis videos and you want to support the channel in a super free and easy way, hit that like button and make sure you hit that subscribe button. So thanks for watching. Take care.